Okay, so I'll do the video today about, I think, Hollywood going rogue. And I gotta be quick, so I'm just gonna kind of read it because I wrote it up so I could get it all out there. So watch Escape Plan with Stallone and Schwarzenegger, and you know, everyone else who was involved. Total insider message: sympathizes with persons who inadvertently created a super prison which was being used for unjust means. And you know, when I saw the movie, I really expected Escape Plan to basically be about that, when he was like, you know, I built an unescapable prison and now I have to break out because he got trapped in. And in the movie, I mean, when you watch the movie, it's got, you know, he's technically hired by the CIA, and I mean, you have to watch the movie because there's a plot twist at the end, which is important, you know, to note. But yeah, I gotta go quick, so I gotta read. All right, so movie goes into how private firms and corporations are being used for, quote, shadow operations, so the government can be clean of the involvement. Now that's important. You know, where did we see that recently? We saw that with the people who were targeted in the Navy Yard shooting, right? So there's some interesting twists. Has some vindication for the Muslims, as you see how basically it's like there's neo-Nazis and Islamic fundamentalists that are incarcerated, and there's tension between them, so they're infighting, you know. But that's like a reference to how really these are the two most demonized groups, and they're demonized specifically because, you know, they're in opposition to whatever. Because, I mean, if you want to know, let's see, implies certain actors are awake: Stallone, Schwarzenegger, Caviezel, which we know from he and Ian McKellen's work in a short, there was like a little series, and it was called The Prisoner, and it was all about seeking the truth behind the two towers. And there was like this show of how you know, the upper echelons of the economic system were ultimately corrupt and stuff. So Sam Neill is also in the movie. I think that's his name, from Jurassic Park. So I said pretty sure Hollywood is fully tipped off. So everyone in Hollywood, right? And that's a big deal. I mean, that's a huge control center for popular opinion, and they're all awake, it seems. So the new Captain America movie is really showing that. Shows how recent comments by Redford are actually just tongue-in-cheek. You know, there's been a lot of like this tongue-in-cheek stuff going on recently, and they'd only be doing that if they kind of, either if they were resisting or they kind of knew that something, you know, like they're trying to wake up the people or whatever. But anyway, yeah, they seem to be doing that, sort of, you know, a lot of them seem to be doing that. Let's see. Of course, a bunch of other movies are probably going to be full of conspiracy theory stuff. There are a lot, I can't even name them off right now. Let's see. I really expected Escape Plan to be full of the conspiracy stuff from the previews. Important to note that there is a twist in the end which vindicates the same government who inadvertently created the monster prison. There's a hero in the movie who has intel which is supposed to be able to, quote, shred the banking industry. It is the antagonist, you know, so the bad guy who's running the ship, it's his main goal to interrogate and find this guy that has the information that can shred the banking scam. So, you know, but, you know, on the note that I would end this, I'll say, I mean, whatever happens, okay, whatever happens, humanity is clearly making a stand. We've made a stand. We aren't going down quietly in historical, now currently I think in historical records we're not going down quietly, and hopefully it means that we have a brighter future ahead. So yeah, I think, you know, I really feel like I need to watch the other movie with the WikiLeaks thing, and also, I don't know, there's just a bunch of movies that are coming out right now. There's one that Tony Scott, or yeah, it must be Ridley Scott. I don't remember. He's got a movie out, and I need to watch that movie. I can't remember what the name of that one is either. So, but I mean, it's when you're a conspiracy theorist and you're trying to just hammer home a message. Anyone who was mildly involved in the alternative media, knowing how impossible and impenetrable and impregnable other people's minds were, when you see stuff like in the movies again, because you know it was kind of around in the 90s, but it was like more relaxed at that time. Then post 9/11, suddenly the murder, you know, this mass homicide crime was on everybody's lap, basically. And so that's why I would like to reiterate yet again that basically there's this huge constant cover-up mistake thing balling up, and what we need to start considering is a, you know, I know a lot of people want justice and stuff, and I agree with that. You know, we gotta hammer it home and get the job done, but ultimately we may run into some brick walls, at which point we might need to you know, decently consider the idea of forgiving mistakes. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's some pretty horrendous crimes, so you know we've got to be able to deal with that too. But we gotta be able to set something up. Okay, if you're gonna take it down, because we've been in this machine, on this life support sort of farm for a long time, domesticated animals, and if we're gonna take it down, we've got to figure out how to do it such that, you know, I mean, I don't like saying this, you know, but I mean, we got to do this. Like, you know, I was thinking today, like, do we really have a democracy? Do you see how much time is passing? You know, forget about the fact that the Iraq War was extremely unpopular. I mean, there were still some people who were justifying that. You don't have anybody really happy about the fact that they are totally spying you, just 100% spying on you. I mean, everyone doesn't like that. It looks like the majority of people don't like that. They don't like Obamacare, etc. So there's no democratic accountability in this country. And you know, recently I was kind of working a full-time job with full-time shifts, and it helped me to understand, like, I almost just couldn't psychologically blame some people for not being able to keep up with world affairs, because you know your brain is so like, if you think everything's okay, which I unfortunately have a tendency to do that right now, and you come home, you know, you're only going to get your news by osmosis, whether, you know, just from maybe like a commercial or, you know, the Comedy Central stuff. And so I'd say part of the, you know, thing that's going on right now is making people get concerned, because when people get concerned, you're gonna really try to tune in on that radio show. You're gonna really try to look into the article. You're gonna really try to go home and then watch the evening news. And so right now I think everything is about getting as many viewers as they can into the news, and hopefully it's for purposes that are not extremely nefarious.